Forza Horizon co-creators' new AAA driving game is in a league of its own. Ex-Forza dev says Forza Horizon 5 was impacted by COVID. New game is in a league of its own. The Leamington Spa-based studio plans to hire around 50 more staff. These websites have had a juicy new interview that reveals some more details about a game that is going to compete with Horizon, and it's probably coming quite soon. To be clear, I mean soon in the sense of the industry soon. We don't know exactly how long this is gonna take, but the fact is this is a big project, not a small one like we've seen some other games kind of popping up here and there. This is a big one for the people that like their AAAs. I am quite excited to see what a new studio, a new team dedicated to racing games can create today, ignoring the limitations of their publisher. Over here, we like Need for Speed, we like The Crew, we like Forza Horizon, we like the games, but the thing is, once you are making those games and the formula is working, why would you change it? And that's what they found themselves in. Once again, shout out to Traction and Martin Big for this scoop. We're gonna skim through it, but of course, if you want full details, you can find the link down below in the description. Now, we already know about these devs. This is Lighthouse Games, and they are a studio that is formed on the idea that, again, they were kind of frustrated by the limitations of an established franchise. They wanted to take it another way, and that's explained right here. Also, just to be clear, throughout this, I'm going to be playing Forza Horizon gameplay. The reason is, this is the last work, their most recent work, and so it kind of makes sense, but like, I don't have anything to show. There's no gameplay as such as of yet, but as soon as there is, you know, you're in the right place. So Forza Horizon, ladies and gentlemen, the last game. Forza Horizon 5 was the biggest launch in history for Xbox Game Studios in 2021. It's been an unstoppable juggernaut, and since then, a PlayStation 5 version came out. I think that sold like, what, 3+ million copies. They are dominating the industry, quite honestly, is the summary there. But behind the scenes of the run-up of the 5th iteration, that was a turning point for the series co-creator, Gavin. 3 years before the game launched, Microsoft acquired Playground Games, the studio behind every Forza Horizon game. We sold the company, so I had 3 years before I could leave. That was my time to try and finish Forza Horizon 5, and I wanted to make it as big a success as possible. That's kind of wild to think about. 3 years after buying, and so they bought it just before Forza Horizon 5, so anyone could have scooped them up. Which is kind of crazy to think that. Can you imagine if PlayStation just swooped in and were like, yeah, we want that? They could have done that. Just like PlayStation bought Insomniac, though, I think it was only gonna go this way. They created close ties with Microsoft. Microsoft, of course, part funding a lot of projects for exclusivity and the like. So, yeah, I think it turned out as it kind of should have. Not that I think acquiring studios is a good thing. It just never turns out well. They do go on to mention about COVID, and this has some interesting details about the kind of setup when it comes to Fable and Forza, because in case you didn't know, just repeat it, Fable and Forza Horizon 6 are both in development by Playground Games. Both of them have different teams, different studio locations, if you will, but at the beginning, things were a little muddier. It was an interesting time. I was looking at Fable, which we were kickstarting at the time. We were building that team, and COVID changed everything. We had to make sure that Forza Horizon 5 was successful, and that meant I had to devote all my time to it. Then much of my leadership team who were on Forza Horizon 5 stepped over to Fable to make sure it was in good hands. It was difficult as everyone worked from home. What I realized was how much we need to work as a team. You lose that if people are working exclusively from home. It's like having a dismembered body. Just to put it in there, of course, he's the CEO. He's got to talk about the like, get him back to work, get him back to work. And I get the argument that it is easier to just kind of walk up to someone's desk and say, fix this, than it is to be like, message them. And I get it. But like, this just kind of feels like, you know, boomer take type of thing. Get him in the office. I work from home. I've never worked in an office. I've worked in a shop, but never an office. And I've got to say, yeah, working from home is better. And I get more done at home because, you know, this is where I work for. All right. Everything is working as it should, but nothing's quite connecting. And I think you see a little bit of that in Forza Horizon 5. This is kind of wild to me because, of course, Forza Horizon is their baby. It's their child. It's what they created. And they did their absolute best. And clearly, Forza Horizon 5 being the most successful one, you can kind of tell, no matter what, it kind of was going to happen anyway. Because one thing that one group of people, and even myself at points, have kind of thought about is the map is really flat for some reason, and that doesn't really make sense. And a lot of people tied it to the Eliminator event, but I don't know, to be honest. It doesn't make sense that they would make a whole map based on just one mode that was tacked on at the end of the previous Forza Horizon's life cycle. It kind of doesn't make sense. And I think maybe there was just some complications with development in general, and clearly that's what was going on here. So we're learning quite a lot about Forza Horizon so far, which is really nice. Like, I'm always super curious, and of course when you've got a big publisher like that, it's always tight-knit, locked in. And so, yeah, they had a bit of a challenge on their hands, ultimately adapting to this new way of working, making a new studio. It's almost like they're getting stretched to the point where Black Box did when they had to make Skate and Need for Speed. Anyway, super interesting. I love to hear this stuff. It's an inside look that we don't normally get. While working on FH5, he began envisioning a new take on driving games with untapped potential, but Forza Horizon Continue's success meant that his idea couldn't be realized at Microsoft. In the back of my mind, there was a game design I wanted to build. It was unexplored at the time, but it seemed to solve a lot of problems I've seen in driving games over the years. I couldn't build that at Microsoft or Xbox. I had to make a choice, either retire or go again, and he decided to go again. And I am glad that you did. Whether this goes well or this completely fails, nonetheless, I'm excited to see what is crafted with this. A new idea, a new vision, breaking through, not having the restrictions. You can just kind of go all out and make something that you want. And that is like, this man sold the studio. Big money. We're talking big money. So, very curious. This is the complete opposite of something like, obviously, Recreation was a small team, and this is big. So this led him to launch Lighthouse Games, a new studio in Leamington Spa, based on teams from Playground Games, Codemasters, Sumo Digital. Oh, I even completely forgot to mention, he himself worked on Grid, he worked on Dirt, F1, and of course Forza Horizon. So big muscle in the world of racing. As I know this is kind of crazy to hear, but in the world of racing games, when you hear they came from Codemasters, they made Grid and Dirt, like early days Codemasters, racing game gods. Like, these are people you need to listen to. But that's kind of how it's seen around the world, at least Europe. Because why do we not have any like American like racing game that like proper racing games, you know? He talks about in the section that they're creating a studio, it's a wonderful experience, and but he actually mentions all the best people I've worked with at Codemasters and Playground Games have joined me. I think we've got 50-60 people from those studios at Lighthouse. Yeah. That's not 50 to 60 people working on the game. No. What they're talking about is they have them from those previous games, those previous teams, those previous studios. That is absolutely wild to say. A new studio, a new team working on a game. Again, the benchmark number of people that you needed to develop a game, probably like 5 years ago, was 100. 100 people could make a cracking game, a AAA game, in my opinion. But these days, maybe they could too. I guess Unbound was pretty good. That was about 100 plus people. But anyway, the point is, we're not talking about 50 to 60 people on a new studio. They've been working on this game since, well, Forza, they left after Forza Horizon's launch. So that's been like almost 5 years. That's crazy. In just 3 years, the studio has grown sharply, recruiting staff at a staggering pace. When Lighthouse formation was announced in 2023, there you go. Rayburn recalls there were 8 of us working out of a rented house at the top of Leamington. Hey, did you have the proper license for that, mate? 2 years later, the team has expanded to a whopping 150 staff. Boggles my mind. I cannot comprehend 150 people on a studio that has just formed. 2-3 years in the make. Crazy. But even as a player, and I think a lot of us feel that too, Forza Horizon 5, although probably in terms of the amount of stuff, the peak Forza Horizon experience, but stuff doesn't really matter when the actual game, we kind of played it out. We know what to expect. There's nothing real fresh going on here at all. So I kind of get it. I mean, this is what happened with Need for Speed. I mean, I would say that I'm still okay with it. They still had a little bit more gameplay. Anyway, but that's just my preference. I love that Need for Speed goes in as new gameplay, new ways to play, and lets you really explore and hone in on that one vehicle that you like. No matter how many games have 500, 600, 700 cars, I like focusing on mine. But anyway, that's my point. Whether you like the Forza Horizon experience or I like this experience of the Need for Speed experience, they want something different to the two of those. And we still don't have a full, solid, concrete idea as to what their idea is going to be. But if anything, that makes it more exciting. I'm kind of curious to what path they're going to take. They have a new way that they said it hadn't been realized at the time, which means maybe it suggests that there has been a game that has kind of realized that idea recently, or they want to do a bigger spin on that. Mate, this is awesome because this is what we need. As I say, no matter how good or great or bad this game ends up being, but with 150 people, I should hope it wouldn't be bad. You would really, really hope that actually they'll at least put an idea out there and hopefully we enjoy it. But if not, they shape it, they build it, they create it. Mate, the fact is, we need more competition in this area, and Forza Horizon is the king, and if we could take down Forza Horizon, at least give it a couple of... we might be back. We might be able to be like, look, there's room for everyone here. And that's kind of what I want to say, because I like old racing games, okay? Lighthouse isn't the only new Limiting Spa studio. We've already spoke about this before, but led by creative director of Forza Horizon 5, Mike Brown, or previous, the rival studio Maverick Games announced last year it's helming a new narrative-driven racing game. So we're not even talking about one game here. We're talking about two from Forza that were frustrated by the issues at Forza Horizon. This is crazy. It's almost telling me that I know what I'm talking about. No, I'm kidding. You know, 5 games in, you gotta refresh it up a little bit. In every way, we have to draw on everything that we've learned from previous games and apply that same ethos. When Playground started, how do we change? How do we take racing and driving car culture somewhere new? That's exciting because you can't do that once you have an established brand, particularly a successful one. By the very essence that it makes money, no one is prepared for you to say, I'll throw that in the bin. I've got a brilliant new idea. Forza Horizon set the template for modern games like the Crew Motorfest and Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. Yeah, unfortunately, Test Drive kind of went too Forza, didn't it? However, he believes that innovation has perhaps slowed down in the genre. There are a lot of great open world driving games out there, but I think there's a lot of similarities between them all. All open world games seem to... I just want to scream it from the mountaintops. The Forza Horizon man! The Forza Horizon men and women and people are saying there needs to be more than Forza Horizon. Do you understand what this means? Yes! It just gives me confirmation. Confirmation. It makes me I feel happy. I feel good. I feel like, damn, maybe I'm not just sitting over here being crazy, that I want something different. Okay? Fresh. Please. I think Ivory Tower is doing really well with the crew and catching up, but we're trying to create something very different that can play in the same league. From what I've seen so far, it's a delight to play our game every day. I think the audience is larger than the number of games there are to play. People like driving when it's done well, and not a lot of gamers do it particularly well. But when it's done well, people really like to see it. So no matter what, listen, it could all just be PR fluff. Of course, there's nothing hugely solid, concrete information about what the game's gonna be yet still. And that's kind of frustrating. I would love to see it, but I think it's kind of a safe bet to do, to just kind of keep it in the media, keep it going, because ultimately they're gonna need to build up. They're gonna have a release cycle. They're gonna have to wait for Forza Horizon 6 to come out and then kind of dwindle off. And I think they're potentially setting up here for the idea that yes, Forza Horizon 6 is obviously, it's kind of guaranteed to be a success. It's going to launch on Game Pass. It's going to launch on Xbox and not on PlayStation for a while. And so it's quite an interesting idea, of course, but it's to lock people in for GTA. But the idea here that we're going to get something that's from the Forza Horizon people that felt they were restricted in making the same game back and back and back and back. I mean, hell, if you look at what Forza Horizon 1 was compared to the new one, you can see kind of what they wanted to do to take it to have story and a character and a campaign and a world. And it kind of thinned out and became honed in. We could just go all day about this. But essentially, we're getting a new racing game, and the people that make it are saying that Forza Horizon got a bit stale for them. Thank you! But also makes me think, if FH5 was messy because of COVID and the two studios and da-da-da, how messy is FH6 gonna be? That, we will have to wait and see. It might not be at all, but I mean, new engine, Forza Motorsport engine, Forza Motorsport team. We'll get to that.